All right, everybody, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. I can see a few folks joining in. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out for today's session. Good evening, good morning. If you can see me, hear me, please put a hi in the chat box. Okay, I don't see a hi as yet. All right, great. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking time out for today's session. Very quickly running you through the rules of today's session. We already had a few questions received from all of you before the session started. So I would be running those with Preeti ma'am for the first 25-30 minutes, after which we open the floor for your question and answers. For any Q&A that you want ma'am to address, please write it in the Q&A box and not in the chat box. If you think there's any audio or visual breakage that's happening from our end, please write it on the chat box. Great. Just before starting the question, we have a very interesting poll question for all of you, just for us to know a little more about your work experience and about the outcome you're expecting from today's session, so that it helps shape our discussion in a much better way. Expecting more of you to start voting. Just two buttons that you need to press here. Okay, ma'am, I hope you can see we have a lot more folks under 5 years of experience. Okay, 50% of you have voted. Thank you. The remaining, very quickly, just help us know more about your work experience and what's the outcome you're looking at. All right. Still waiting for the voter turnout to be more than the government voter turnouts. All right. Great. Thank you. So, ma'am, I think we have our answer where we can maybe put this discussion into the direction of more people starting their careers recently, and they're looking at how they can build their careers in digital marketing. So I think that's good information to begin with. Great. So just very quickly introducing the guest for today, the guest speaker for today, we have with us Professor Preeti Shroff, who's the Dean of MICA, uh, the leading marketing institute in India for anything marketing, and well, globally as well. MICA has had so many people who participated in the program as a result of the Upgrad MICA partnership. So I think that's we've got MICA's presence all along. So, ma'am, just the first question to you. Before I put the first question to you, it'll be great if you could introduce yourself in much more detail to the audience.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the entire Upgrade team. You are doing an excellent job in the way you are reaching out to your potential market in terms of people who are definitely half my age. So, thank you for the opportunity. I would be very brief. It's very uncomfortable for me to introduce myself. I rather hear from everyone who is here. But essentially, my background is in economics and management. But I also worked for many, many years when I was in India, in rural areas, understanding rural India as much as urban India. So that's my first message to everyone, that India is very diverse. And if you want to reach out to your customer segments and understand marketing and ultimately connect with your customer community, then please travel around, engage with people who are different than you, which I did. So after my studies at St. Xavier's, I traveled and worked in rural areas with various agencies and communities. And then I went to England to pursue international development and management because I was always curious to understand different countries and cultures. That's what for me is the most meaningful experience. And we talk about experience marketing in today's world. There was no digital world at that time, so physical travel was very important. And then I did my PhD in the US and focused on sustainable communities and sustainable lifestyles, which is my purpose and guiding principle even today. And I must say that I find it fascinating that millennials are so well connected with the world compared to our generation, and your sensitivity to global issues and your understanding of global markets is amazing already given the digital platform. And that's what MICA focuses on: digital business transformation, digital platforms, and digital marketing. So, very glad to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Just let's talk about the first question, which is, could you just help us understand more about the Upgrade MICA partnership?
So, Upgrade and MICA partnership is the best of all worlds. That's one way of summarizing it. It is very exciting for MICA to work with such a young and dynamic team at Upgrade. So, thank you for everything you bring to us to help us understand what kind of programs are needed and how do we use digital platforms to reach out to the potential group of learners who might be already working. Some of them might be exploring what their interest areas are. And I think what Micah brings to the table is, of course, years of experience in understanding marketing trends, especially in a digital world, and bringing your creativity. We differentiate ourselves as a unique institution in terms of the experiences that we bring to our learners through our campus, curriculum, and of course, our faculty community. But above all, we focus on creativity in the way we manage businesses, creativity in marketing campaigns, and creativity in problem solving for any new product or diversification of products and services. On Upgrade side, you bring incredible industry speakers, industry leaders. So I think bringing Micah's knowledge in marketing area in terms of theory, tools, platforms, and bringing your outreach to industry just creates one of the most cutting edge programs and relevant program for all learners.
Thank you for that answer, ma'am. Um, Moving on to the next question that we have. How has digital marketing changed in the COVID era, the way we interact with our brands, where we spend our time, and so many other things?
So I would mention three important reflections in terms of trends. The first one is, as all of us are fully aware and experiencing, we are in COVID and post COVID phase. And I'm saying COVID and not just post COVID. India has been hit by the second wave and could be a third wave that will impact our rural communities. So we have to be fully aware of what a country is going through as we talk about the digital world and marketing. So I think the first important aspect is healing is going to be extremely important for people because so many of us have lost our colleagues, our family members, friends have lost their family members. We just recently lost one of our youngest in digital marketing, Professor Jai Trivedi. So everybody is somewhere hurting very deeply. People are experiencing loss. And I think it is going to be very important for marketing community to understand how do we connect with various communities, families, and help them heal. So whatever product message, service message, brand message we are bringing, it will have to focus on how can we reach out to our client base and communities that we want to connect with through very important understanding of the health crisis, and then how brand is sensitive about it. So that is number one, right? Second important aspect is experience economy. See, we have entered a world where we are using digital platforms, tools, and techniques to reach out to customers, but at the same time, Customers are looking for experiences and not just products or services campaigns, because we are purpose driven. Especially, as I said, millennials are fully aware of how different products are created, what are some of the important purpose driven goals that you all look for. So, for example, if a company is using child labor but has the best marketing campaign, customers are very smart. They would read about how did you produce this. So even if it's affordable product, but if it is impacting environment, if it's impacting human beings negatively or in any harmful way, that product will not take off in the long run. So then it becomes very, very critical that you understand what kind of messaging that you would like with your customers. So that's the experience part. And for example, Starbucks has gamification in loyalty programs. Amazon has product experience that they bring to you. I'll give you a very simple example. Our community neighborhood stores where we go, observe them very, very carefully, how they know about families' stories, how they know ये मैडम क्या लेगी और क्यों लेंगी. They will say as soon as you enter, मैडम आपको तो यही लेना है, पता है हमें. It's that important knowledge about your individual customer that is going to be very, very important. And how do you create that experience? So, the third point is, from mass production, we have entered mass customization era and then personalized customization. And that's why the most creative challenge for all of us is, while we exist in digital world, we do need to come closer to human beings. So there is no other way to understand human beings but engage with them. So please, if you want to understand digital marketing, please recognize it is about understanding and creating human experience.
Thank you for, I really like the point where you spoke about the mass customization to personalized customization, and that will only be possible even in the digital world with all the vectors that we have to identify human beings in with data points. But that only comes in when you understand humans and the choices that they make. That will become easier for you to make use of that data. So thank you for that. Moving on to the next question, why should everyone learn digital marketing irrespective of their current role and experience?
So apart from the challenges of COVID era, every business across industry sector, whether it is automobiles, financial industries, education industry, whatever your interest in terms of working with whatever segment of industry or subsector, everyone exists in the digital world. So it's not that we exist as an organization and then we add digital as a component. We think digitally, we act digitally, we engage digitally. So, given that every legacy business is trying to understand how to transform and become a digital first company, there are digital companies as well. Facebook, Google, these Amazon, these are by nature digital companies. So you can focus on where do you want to work and contribute to marketing strategy. It could be legacy companies or it could be digital companies. So, given that every business is transforming and trying to understand digital, and there are three components to this. One is overall business transformation that is in the digital world. So, even if you are focusing on marketing, you will have to understand what is digital business strategy overall to convert your ideas into concrete connection with customers, and then what is the ROI, right? In terms of how many clients you can actually convert and bring about sales. So please be clear. Results are very critical for the company's bottom line. So that is the first part. The second aspect is, how do you understand digital governance? So, for example, you will have to work with teams that are global. Your products and services and brands are going global. So, how do you learn how to engage with very diverse group of people that you will have to work with to promote your marketing strategy and campaign? And this, I know, at Upgrade we call it soft skills. which are extremely important. So, the first part of understanding digital business transformation are hard skills. You must understand business models, financial analytics, data, all these hardcore aspects of marketing and strategy ultimately for a business. Second aspect is soft skills. How do you work with people? How do you communicate? How can you be creative? And how do you understand using digital platforms and multi channel platforms, right? Omni channel platforms. Because any one platform will not give you the results you are looking for. So, customer journey and platforms become very, very critical. And the third important aspect is how do you yourself experience and create experiences. And that's where I'm re emphasizing keep connecting with very different kinds of people. So you develop that what I call diversity intelligence. You need to understand personalization, as we talked about earlier, and for that you will have to learn relationships, you'll have to understand customer journey, you'll have to understand big data as much as small data, because people are very diverse. And you'll also have to understand how do you conduct focus groups, how do you engage for storytelling, right? So I'm emphasizing big data and small data, and MICA and upgrade program will bring all of this deeper understanding for all of you.
Perfect. Very quickly, I think summarizing, um, first point is definitely you can look at either legacy companies or digital companies for whoever has joined this session
Or
today.
your own company, right? You might start your own company.
Absolutely. And in the overall business transformation that's happening today, because of where we are all headed towards digital, you one will have to focus on digital business strategy, which where you'll have to incorporate a lot of hard skills. There's global expansion. Otherwise, the other strategies which require you to have soft skill understanding of cultures, etc. And in the end, you yourself putting in yourself in the customer's shoes and trying to create experiences for your potential customer.
Can I give an example? Because that will bring the point home.
Absolutely.
So, I was in an executive program. So, mid career folks who were working with different industries. And this particular group happened to be working in media and digital entertainment sector. So, the exercise we gave them was what are you working on and how can you become more digital ready? Simple question. So they talked about content marketing. So we said, okay, great. What content are you creating? So they said, we are creating content for India's regional and rural market, because increasingly regional languages and regional and rural marketing is becoming very critical in entertainment programming, correct? So I said, fine. And then I asked them that how do you create this content? So they said we sit in our offices and we talk about what is it that customers like and viewers like. So then I said, okay, you are 35 of you. Raise your hands. How many of you have gone and lived with rural communities? Because you are creating content for rural population, which is almost still over 50% of Indians live in rural areas. Not one person had traveled to rural communities or rural areas. Some were creating programs for Karnataka in local language, some were creating in Gujarat, some in UP. And UP, Karnataka, and Gujarat are very diverse from each other. So the point is, as you were saying earlier, that you have to make sure how you are creating your content marketing. Are you in touch with your customer?
Perfect. Thank you. A lot of it is something that I, in my current role, am doing some very very clearly understanding where you're headed towards. And while you were saying this, I don't know. I remembered one of the campaigns that Nike did. So Nike always used to focus on having sports people in their campaigns, most of them, right? To because it appealed to that audience, that was the market segment. But during the lockdown, they came up with this very recent campaign which focuses on why don't you try something new, where a lot of people were trying out sports and failing at it. Basketball, there were so many sports that were shown and people failing at it, and it was a question in the end was like, why don't you try it? I mean, because trying is equally fun. So now they're trying to look at a segment of people which is different from people who used to play sports.
Well,
So
you are
essentially,
well.
that's where they want to get towards. They want to tap into that audience, and which is why the ad, right, the video that was created. So anything and everything in your marketing strategy sort of comes and shapes towards what you want to achieve.
Yes.
Great. So moving on to the next one, how all right, I'm sorry. How is digital marketing changing the marketing landscape? Because we mentioned like legacy companies. So how is the landscape changing because of digital marketing? We can bring in a few examples here as well.
Um, you know, there is a term called glocal, and I'm going to bring that term here. In the literature, we call it glocalization, which is while we are, as brands, companies, marketeers, focusing on what is the global opportunities, right? What global opportunities exist, we need also to be local at the same time. So, for any brand and product, you will have to understand regional differences in a country, how to connect with local communities and population, while also understanding what should be the global strategy to work across countries. So, global is the first term. Second aspect, I've already mentioned that we are in post COVID, and healing, compassionate marketing is going to be, purpose driven marketing is going to be very, very important. And increasingly, customers are also focusing on what we say people and planet. You know, people, planet, and profit is the three P's they say that are very important. Profit increasingly is seen more as value generation, also. That what, not just profits for brands and companies, what are you doing for society? What are you doing for changing societies? Just yesterday, I'll tell you, I'm very busy. You all have to understand as marketeers that we are distracted customers, we are busy customers, we have 10 seconds attention span. And in the middle of everything, the new ad by Dove caught my attention in a fraction of a second. You know why? Because their campaign, they said there are 8 campaigns they are launching, or 8 different ads, to showcase how women are portrayed in any marriage situation, where it's your physical looks and everything else but who you are becomes more important. So they are focusing on women as human beings and not looking at them as what are your characteristics and this is my checklist and you have to meet this checklist. This appeals to me very deeply. So they never even said buy Dove. They didn't say that. They focused on what will appeal to me. And I am their top buyer in the market, because women are entering market as producers, as customers, as brand loyal uh, base, right? And you have to understand, even if you are a male marketeer, how do you understand women? So this is why I was saying that you have to understand what your segments, customer segments, are going through, what are their life situations, what are the issues they are facing, and focus on those stories, those issues. We will automatically connect with the brand. I'll give you another example. I was visiting China, and there was this beautiful showroom by Mercedes. So they said, would you like to see the brand new showroom of Mercedes cars? And I thought, okay, I'll go see what are the new kinds of cars that they are designing. It would be interesting, especially in China. We went there, there was not a single car. It had nothing to do about cars, it was everything about millennials. So it was a fantastic place for millennials to come together. They had the best food, they had organic products that they were showing, and there was music, there was storytelling, there were television screens talking about travel and journey. And it was incredible that they never even mentioned once that buy Mercedes car or this is our design. Obviously, automatically, then I went on digital platform and looked for, oh, interesting. If Mercedes is this aware about millennials, let's see what they are producing for millennials. So the point is, you have to sell the purpose. You have to sell meaning. You have to connect with experiences, and human beings automatically will understand the brand. We are smart enough to research the brand. So keep that in mind.
Thank you for that. I do have a follow-up question on that, but I'll just pick up the one which is already in line and then I'll come back to you. How do you keep yourself updated in this pool of information?
I work with young people. It is such a joy to engage with millennials and all of you, young people, because you bring such dynamism and energy, even though world is complex. It is your passion, your hard work that keeps inspiring us to bring the world to you. So my strategy is very simple: work with young folks and bring the best education to them. And see, in today's world, education is not one time experience the way it used to be in the past. All of you will keep changing jobs, all of you will keep exploring new careers, all of you will keep traveling. And we want to be part of your traveling journey in your life and in your work. And that's why education is a lifelong journey now. And we'll have to keep engaging with you because the world is changing so rapidly, and bring to you the best learning we can. And I think Micah and Upgrade do that so well.
Absolutely, ma'am. You mentioned lifelong learning. That's what upgrad stands for. Usually, every hashtag we use has a lifelong learning. So yes, that is what we do believe in. Okay, follow up question to the last one, ma'am. Before we start the questions, we still have 3 minutes before we open the floor. You mentioned that brands should be purpose driven, and I think a lot more brands are realizing that today than before, and and now it becomes cluttered where you see brands who don't have connected values to them, and just because they were told, or they attended some and they read about it, they're trying to bring in a purpose, and it looks very disconnected with who they are as a brand. What would you tell to about those brands?
Authenticity, honesty, and complete story, and not one time campaign or one time purpose that you share. Customers are looking for a comprehensive and complete story. Let me put it that way, right? So don't even try to take shortcuts, it won't work. You have very smart customers, everyone has mobile phones. So digital is now on mobile platforms as well, and people carry mobile phones even in rural areas, in urban areas, age groups. You talk of any population group. So please understand, no shortcuts will work. And that is why one important point I do want to raise, and I think it's very critical for millennials, that develop the habit of reading and analyzing. 10 seconds reading on social network about any topic and writing a paper will not help you. Read your books that are given to you by your professors, especially in Upgrade and MICA program that I wish all of you will join. Read carefully the materials in terms of history of brands, strategies, very carefully understand different examples. So, patience in understanding, deep learning. There is nothing superficial that will work in today's world. And I feel at times that there is a contradiction where, as learners, we want everything quick. Give me solutions, give me magic. No, it doesn't happen that way. You have to work very hard. You have to understand a company brand in depth. So please take time to read about it. You can read on social media, you can read articles in great journals. There are amazing marketing journals, digital business transformation journals, there are books. Keep reading, keep analyzing. Only when you develop those, what we call deep skills. See, there are soft skills, there are hard skills, and then there are deep skills where you can sit quietly and understand and analyze what is happening, whether it's data or whether it's content, right? So it's about mindset and attitude that are equally important. And you have to combine hard skills, soft skills, and deep skills, what we call at MICA essential life skills. It's not just about a job, it is not just about a product, It is about you, who you are as a brand. So when you are trying to market a brand, remember you are also a brand. And how do you develop self as a brand? That is extremely important.
Sure. Thank you so much for that one. And that brings us to the end of our questions, which we received before the start of the session, and very much on time. So, picking up a few questions that have already been asked, and I think about seven of them are about how do I make a career in digital marketing, essentially from where do I start to how do I progress.
So, see, first important message for all of you, that everything begins with hard work. Marketing is a very glamorous, creative, fun world, and you all will reach the level of CMO or CEO, and we wish that you become leaders and disrupt industries and disrupt the world for more meaningful world that you all can create. But it is a journey. So any task that is given to you in any job you are seeking, take that very seriously. There is no task higher or lower. Whatever you do, do it with a commitment, work hard, be honest and authentic, and that is what will take you forward if you want to reach the top. Right? So, shortcuts will take you to the next step, but your goal is the longer journey to emerge as a leader and as a compassionate leader. So, that is extremely critical.
Perfect. I think what the question also was to what is my starting point? I mean, I'm not somebody who is a digital marketer. I'm doing multiple jobs, etc. Where do I start? One could be, I mean, my understanding would be one, do the programs, take that as a starting point, do the live
Sure.
projects, which come along with the program, because the live projects will give you a hands-on to what it is to be to work in this setup. And then of course parallelly you can pick up a lot of internships. These days there are so many internships that require digital marketing interns, and you can definitely pick that up as an opportunity.
See, as I said earlier, the digital marketing is connected with digital business transformation. So you must develop ability to understand different business models across sectors. You must develop ability for data analysis and deriving insights. Data itself is not sufficient, it's what you do with data. And there are large data sets and there are smaller data sets when you become more personalized in terms of understanding customer needs. So data analysis becomes very critical, but how you derive trends out of data to give insights to your company, and based on that, what kind of campaigns you can design, right? So marketing is not isolated anymore, it is integrated into the entire customer journey experience. And how does a business understand customers, reach out to them, create loyalty, and then be a part of customers lifelong journey is the goal, correct? So for that, financial skills, what kind of budgets, how do you analyze those budgets, data and analytics, experiential management. So these are all integrated skills now that you'll have to develop. And as you said, there are different ways of acquiring those skills, but more you engage in live cases, more advanced courses that you keep taking along the way, and more networks. The most important part is keep building your network, because you'll meet amazing professionals and keep learning from them. So, those are the three important things as part of lifelong learning that I would emphasize. But above all, don't be shy of hard work. Everything takes effort, especially in today's world. And more you can engage to understand global scenarios, companies are looking for global intelligence. So engage and understand what is happening in different companies around the world, and how brands and companies are positioning themselves for campaigns that could be very different from one country to the other, right? What you launch in China for the same product in terms of campaigns will be very different than what you launch in India or what you launch in Germany. So
Absolutely.
please be aware of the world around you.
Perfect. Thank you, ma'am, for that. Moving to one question: how do I get a job in big MNC companies like TCS, Infosys, without having a degree? Okay, in I assume a degree in data science is what you're asking, but having 2 years of experience in digital marketing.
So, one is, of course, you start with identification of what company you are interested in. Then, within that, with your experience, look at what is the best entry point. See, identifying entry point in a company is very critical, and that's where knowledge of the company, understanding of the culture and structure of the company. Many times I speak to executive program folks who are trying to upgrade themselves, either to climb up in a company or change companies, right? Those are the two great options that all of you will have because you're more mobile than my generation. The question I ask them is, why are you here in this company? And often they forget that somewhere your life purpose, your life, and the company you choose should intersect, because if that doesn't happen, you might make money, you might get a role, but you might not fit into it and you might not enjoy. So be thoughtful about what you are choosing, and therefore just the name of the company is not sufficient. It's your alignment with the brand's purpose is what drives you. So keep that in mind, and you might start with slightly lower salary, but it's your entry point in a great company that you like. So look for different entry points. That is one. Second, once you join a company, doesn't mean you have to be in the same role. Companies have incredible diversity in terms of how they are diversifying. Look for, okay, this is what I've started with, but how can I shift to a different role within the company? So then engage with those different departments, talk to your colleagues, understand what are the leaders and leadership style in the company. So continuously understand the transformation of the company also, and definitely understand what kind of networks would be critical and bring your creative ideas to the company. That is what businesses are looking for. That even if you're in marketing, can you give me a great understanding of what should be post COVID strategy, right? So constantly it's this dance of micro level role that you're playing, but macro level transformation that company is going through. Be intelligent about it and be very creative in the kinds of ideas you can bring to the company and then execute it. So it's vertical integration that you can look for, horizontal integration in the company, and then across the sector there are multiple brands and companies. So look at it also in terms of it's a journey.
On the last point, couldn't agree more. You should always ask, what do I bring to the table, and try and show the company that you actually add value. I have tried doing that as well, where I would just reach out to a health AI company that I liked. I just told them that these are the SEO blogs that you should be writing just to improve your rankings, and and they liked it so much that they took an interview for me. So it's just where you identify that, hey, this is where you can improve and you can grow, because you're adding value to that company, right? Why wouldn't that company want to interview you or have you as a potential employee, because everybody
And
is
for
looking.
that, can I add one more point, please?
Yes.
That look, your social media presence will be observed by the company. Please understand that. Now, when you apply, company looks at your presence in every way. It's not just your resume. So, one, how do you prepare your resume? What you include in your resume? Showcase innovations that you might have created. Showcase great community projects that you have done for social impact, environmental sustainability, whatever you believe in. Company wants to know who you are beyond just the credentials, correct? And then what you put out on your social media, if it's public, please understand companies will research that. So be very mindful and thoughtful. And the second point is, the data and digital world is becoming quite risky in the sense all kinds of problems are happening for data privacy, right? There are so many cases where Facebook was questioned on the issue of data privacy. So you'll have to learn in your marketing campaigns also how data is managed, how do you utilize data, and how you have to be very accountable in the way you access consumer data and how you analyze. Please be very, very smart about what is data protection and data security and the way you access consumer data. So these are all additional skills that now marketeers will have to acquire.
Perfect. Thank you for that, ma'am. Just let me know if you're able to hear me because I think my
Yes.
bandwidth is low. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Um, there are so many questions. I'm just trying to see which one we can pick up. Dhanraj is asking, can a commerce student become a digital marketer? Absolutely, anybody can.
Oh, commerce skills are very important. Digital marketing is about commerce, and e-commerce is the fastest growing business practice. So, commerce graduates, please. And at MICA, we have so many engineers, commerce graduates who come to us. So, definitely, it's a natural path for you.
Perfect. Mohit has asked, what kind of skills are required to work in the digital marketing field?
So, as
I
I
mean, I know you mentioned hard skills and soft skills. Let maybe we can focus a little more on hard skills. What are the different types of hard skills that one should focus on?
so see one in terms of let's focus on hard skills. And if you don't have hard skills, your soft skills will not bring the results. Remember, your base has to be solid and strong. So, one, if you claim that you have a knowledge of marketing, make sure you have acquired that knowledge in every way possible, right? As we talked about earlier, take upgrade courses, keep upgrading yourself as well in every way possible. Be in touch with experts in marketing, learn from different marketing campaigns, look at the trends. So those are basic hard skills, but what I added to hard skills for marketeers is also finance knowledge, budgeting knowledge, business strategy and business transformation, industry understanding, and absolutely knowing how to operate across communities and cultures to present your brand. So those are different kinds of what we call multiple intelligence aspects. So global intelligence, cultural intelligence, community intelligence, and especially cross cultural intelligence will matter a lot. In terms of soft skills in today's world, because we are focusing on mass customization and personalization, you will have to understand human beings. You'll have to understand relationships. You'll have to understand how communities are formed. Because today, customers form their own communities to understand and assess a brand. So, how do you create customer base and communities where they can interact with each other? So, then brand becomes a facilitating platform, and you automatically market yourself when you allow people, for example, to create a COVID response platform. Can you do that? Can you bring people together and let them discuss what problems are they facing, or what is sports marketing and what are people's interest? And you talked about Nike earlier. It's not that brand is about successful people. Brand is for all people. Then how do you reach out to those who would like to participate in sports but still are struggling? So you talk about sports as a journey, not as a success. So how do you bring this important codes and linguistic and what we call semiotics aspects of what connects with people and cultures and people from different communities?
Perfect. Moving to the next question, how can we drive digital traffic to our website immediately? Okay, immediately. It's not an immediate process. It's a very slow process, because if you want to grow in the most organic way, you try to come up in the search rankings, and that only happens when you're producing relevant content continuously, not once, not twice, a very continuous mechanism.
It's about catching our attention.
Mm.
And how do you catch attention today is not just about selling a brand or product, but making me understand something that I didn't know before. connecting with my purpose in life? As a woman, what are some of the issues that I might connect with? As a certain age group person, what are some of the issues that I might be facing? And how would I pay attention to what a brand is teaching me? So, can a brand also become educator, right? And then, of course, when I come to your website, what is the best experience I can get when I connect with you through your website? So I think there is something that's happening that's going in reverse. Earlier, it used to be you connect with your customers, get their attention, and then create experiences for them. Now, it is the experience that you give me will attract me to pay attention to the brand. Do you see what I'm saying? So, content and experience creation becomes very important for you to get me to come and connect with the website.
Perfect. Um, there there were a few more questions that I answered while you were answering this. So there was one about how do I do a fast growth using digital marketing. There's so many ways for you to boost your reach on Facebook, Instagram, etc. But is that a sustainable growth model? No. So fast growth is possible using easy tools which are, and just boosting your outreach. But sustainable way of growing is through resulting
And I
in
think,
better search rankings.
Ramita, their integrated marketing strategies are
Oh,
very critical. And I know MICA and Upgrade course focuses on that
yes.
you have to use multiple platforms and you must have a strategy overall. How you're going to use multiple platforms, in what sequence, what will be my experience going through multiple platforms. So think of integrated marketing strategy that will have to utilize traditional marketing platforms and digital and mobile platforms, right? So you'll have to be mobile and digital ready, but also keep in mind some of the traditional marketing platforms as well and integrate all of those in a very logical sequence.
Absolutely agree with you. Think of it as a, even if you're talking about integrated, if you're talking offline and online, think of it as, there's this very famous retail chain in India, DMart. So you can think of any any banner that you saw there, right, in a full blown proportion there, and immediately, even if you don't buy something there, if you were to be attracted by the same brand on your digital medium, right, at around the same time that you were visiting the store, it creates the frequency of offline and online. Create That's the integrated marketing communication that definitely, ma'am, as mentioned, would be covered as a part of the course.
And also look at the role of artificial intelligence and gamification in marketing. That's becoming very critical. So acquire those skills as well. So, how do you create a community around your brand where you bring your customers together for an interesting gamification experience, right? Together, what can they do? And just 10-second segment can do it, 30-second segment, 1 minute segment. So, there are very important AI and gamification oriented campaigns and approaches that lead to very interesting and exciting experiences, especially for the millennials.
Perfect. uh, Okay, Bhuvan is asking, I think, a follow up to this. How do I connect with the audience if there's already a big brand in the market? Maybe I think his question is, I I'm in the same segment as a big brand, and how do I now start with a head-on competition slowly?
Actually, if you look around, these smaller and new brands and startups are creating a lot of excitement. So focus on how do you disrupt big brands' existing strategies with a completely new idea, because when you are starting new and when you are relatively smaller, you can be a very dynamic team and see what you can do by bringing new and innovative ideas, and sometimes learn from the larger brand and competitive brands presence and see what did they do right, but also see what you can do right in this space that they might not have gone and targeted, right? So there are campaigns where we all look and say, oh wow, they did something amazing, correct? Nike did that. Nike launched this entire social issues campaign also for purpose driven marketing, and they created controversies and they dealt with controversies, and that creates a deep connect. So focus on, even if you are a new player, that deep connect that you want to establish with your target group and target market.
Perfect. There's one question. I don't know coding. Can I still learn AI? Yes, we Upgrade also offers AI programs. So you definitely. We also have a preparatory course which you can go through even if you don't know coding. All right, ma'am. I wish to be an all-round marketing professional. I do not want to be restricted to one particular domain such as PPC, social media. I want to be equipped with the skills required to lead my own team. What would be your best advice to equip myself with the necessary skills?
So, as I said before, that you have to combine two important, I would call it mindsets. One is digital mindset, digital ready mindset. Second is people connect ready mindset. Just by using digital platforms, you won't understand people. If you want to market services, if you want to connect with them, build lifetime value. So please pay attention to the digital and human side equally. Don't ignore either one of them. That is one. Second is try and understand a range of brands in different industry sector. So if you are working, let's say, in automobiles or financial industry, learn from tourism industry. Don't restrict yourself in terms of learning to where you are working, because different sectors are innovating, and it will be very interesting if you have that integrated understanding of how different subsectors of industries are uh, adapting, are resilient, and what are they doing to be resilient and adaptive, and especially in post-COVID phase, try and understand how around the world different businesses are transforming themselves. So always be alert, be agile, and be very aware of what's happening. So those are three A's, I would say, right?
Could you repeat that? Be very agile,
Be
uh,
very active,
active.
engage, and be very aware.
All right,
Transformations.
perfect. Thank you for that. All right, there are so many questions. What is the best plan to market and reach out to the maximum number of people, keeping my identity undisclosed?
As a brand or as a person?
As a brand, you don't want to keep it
Exactly.
undisclosed.
That's why I was asking the question, that you don't want to be undisclosed. Um, but you can very well not disclose your identity if that's what you choose. Then you work as a team, right? Then you take on group identity and take on brand's identity to represent your ideas and all kinds of different experiences that you can create. And I think in social media world also, there are ways now not to disclose your identity.
Oh, absolutely. You can definitely use the name of the company without, it wouldn't show who published that particular post. So that is absolutely possible. Then
But
you,
I also, the other side of that coin is do your due diligence in terms of who is writing on name of your brand or company.
yeah,
So that also is very, very important, right? Because in today's world, anybody can create a story,
yeah.
anyone can write. So look at the feedback you are getting from customers, constantly manage what you are hearing and what content gets posted, either on your website or social media platforms. It is important to reach out to customers and important to seek stories where customers also become your content creators, because today customers are your partners and they can share great experiences. It's not just you. So I think that's another important insight that you must keep in mind. You are not the only marketeer. Every customer you are engaged with is your ambassador, brand ambassador, and marketeer. How do you leverage that in co creation of stories and marketing experiences? but at the same time also be very diligent in terms of what content is going out, and when there is negative content, negative feedback or stories, how do you deal with that is equally important for marketeers.
Absolutely. I've seen so many influencers tackle that very beautifully. Because as influencers, also you're the brand. So they I've seen some of them answer it very very beautifully. Great. Moving on to the next question: should I have multiple digital marketing strategies in a diversified environment where I have to target people based out of different geographic locations, or should it only be product based?
See, as I was saying earlier, please understand what is the business strategy for your company.
Yeah.
So don't say I'm just in the marketing segment, so I don't have to think about all other aspects of the business. No, you have to. Speak to finance folks, speak to your leadership team,
Mm.
speak to your product folks, speak to your supply chain folks, because all of these will matter so much. And I'll give you a quick example. In today, because of the COVID crisis, I am in Los Angeles currently, and I ordered a chair from a very well-known company, has beautiful marketing campaign, and they focus on very sophisticated and elegant furniture design that is organic and is global. So that's what appeals to me, right? So that's how they got me. And quality, of course, they deliver quality. They so marketing campaign got my attention. I went to their website, ordered a beautiful chair I wanted. Then they came back to me and said, ma'am, because of COVID now, our design and product, the wood and whatever other aspects of the chair, they come from three different countries, and because of COVID now, it's going to be 11 months wait time. See, you can't market something to me saying it's a beautiful product at your home tomorrow. And then when I order, so the point is you have to be fully aware in your marketing campaigns what will be the supply chain? What is the current crisis around us where business might suffer? Can you deliver what you're promising me? And this is what I meant by authenticity, that when your customers engage, then you have to be ready. And that's why your marketing must reflect your execution of that marketing to transform into sales and actual product distribution or service that customers should be able to enjoy. So all of these factors are very, very critical.
Perfect. All right. I think there's one question: how much time would it need to be invested per month to help my digital marketing efforts to improve my Google ranking? Really depends on the industry you're in. On an average, I mean, I have seen typically 6 months for you to steadily increase your search rankings.
It's also what search engines you are using, how
Yeah.
you are integrating different engines and different platforms. And that's why I keep repeating, understanding digital business transformation and the strategy for overall business is extremely important for marketeers to understand and then integrate in your approaches.
Perfect. I think there's one last question left, and we have 1 minute left for the session to end.
Sure.
I am a chemistry graduate, so which course will be good for to learn about AI? Okay, that's for free. So you can look up. There are multiple programs. We have certification, we have executive programs, and master's degrees for AI. So now it depends on what level of upskilling you're looking at to be able to decide between which of the three you would want to choose. There's one on machine learning and AI, there's one on machine learning and cloud, there's one on machine learning and deep learning. So many options out there for you to start with. Okay, last question: is off page backlinking still in use?
I think companies are absolutely using that, especially for analysis of what they are learning. So keep in mind that behind the scenes, you do have to continuously understand what is it that you can learn from different platforms that you are using on and off site. That those are very critical, and link both, as you said, Meda, earlier, that link, right, on site and off
Yes.
site
Yes.
experiences and strategies very much. And I do want to emphasize that for MICA upgrade program in digital marketing and communication, there are specialization and tracks, right, Mida?
Yes,
Uh, so you all can also decide once you take the base program, then if you want to take specializations, you can decide how do you want to specialize as well. So always look at upgrade programs, especially with MICA, in terms of the base program and then how you can learn advanced skills and go for that sequential learning. I think that's what you were mentioning earlier. Even for upgrade programs, sequential learning where you can take combination of programs can be very, very valuable for all of you.
absolutely. I mean, there's some for some people they also take the marketing program that we're talking about, and then decide that hey, maybe we want to do an MBA, which is a more deeper understanding, and like you said, right, understanding the whole business before you actually start making recommendations on strategies. So we've got various paths for learning for people.
And we do have students who take online programs and then apply to MICA. And we have students who have come to MICA for MBA after MBA, they have gone and they in the mid-career path, they take programs from Upgrade. So I encourage all of you to just keep learning in whatever sequence it comes to you. MBA comes first, then online learning comes, and then MBA follows. But keep learning in the best way possible, and that is your greatest investment because we are entering what we call from we used to be an industrial economy to service economy to knowledge economy to now we are in experience economy, which means you will have to keep gaining different education experiences, and that is your best investment you can make.
Absolutely right. I will, you can, all of you can actually just go to the website, upgrad.com, look under programs, look under marketing. There are two marketing programs we have with MICA, so please feel free to look it up. And there's a lot more options for you. I think a few of you had asked about AI. All the programs that I mentioned are available on our website. If there's any questions you have for us, please write to us at admissions@upgrad.com, and we'll ensure that somebody from our team helps answer your questions. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking the time out today and very, very patiently answering each question and giving us amazing examples. And I did learn a lot from today's session, and I hope all those who attended as well did.
My pleasure, and I wish the best to all the participants today in this conversation. And Mira, I best do wish the best for entire Upgrade team. It is a pleasure. And what I do enjoy the most is the people who work in the Upgrade team and faculty that MICA brings, and then industry experts. So, see, ultimately, education is about who are your mentors, who are your educators, who is your faculty, and this is where I think MICA Upgrade collaboration is going to be an amazing experience because apart from knowledge and skills, you will also connect with incredible human beings. And that is lifetime value, correct? So, all the best.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everybody,
My
for
pleasure.
taking time out.
Bye bye.
Have a great day, good evening, good night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. I'll sign off, Mega. Is that good?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.